Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Malkazar returning with another installment to the Final Fantasy XIV story playthrough. Last we played, we started the Stormblood expansion finally, did a bunch of stuff out in Garabania, and now we are over on the eastern side. Let's see if we can find a better map. Hard. So, there really isn't a very good map, but maybe I can find it, I don't know. Garabania is over here, next to the Black Shroud, which we've been to many times. Come in from the East Shroud. The fringes, yep, Garabania, which is where our friend Lise is from. So we're trying to, I guess at this point, liberate two Empire-bound locations. I can't even speak right now. Two locations that have been conquered by the Empire for 20-25 years. And our thoughts are if we can free both of them, then the Empire will have to fight a war on two fronts in order to stop both locations from being freed. And so that's what we're doing right now. Doma is also under Imperial rule, and we're here to see what we can do to fix it. So let's go talk to Hancock, which apparently works for the East Aldenar Trading Company, which is commanded by Lord Loborito, who we don't trust very much anyway. So let's see where we can take it from here. At long last, we arrive at our destination. May I present to you our humble offices. We have much to discuss, so I will refrain from further prattle. Come, right this way. This man's pretty funny. He keeps trying to make jokes, but he's been over here for so long that his humor is changed to humor of the East. Oh, back to voice acting. Ooh.
Our thaumaturges took great pains to ward these walls against all manner of surveillance. Where business dealings are concerned, we do not compromise on confidentiality. You may avail yourselves of these offices for the duration of your visit. Come and go as you like, and know that you may speak freely here.
Your offer is most generous, but I will not enter into any agreement which would leave us beholden to you or your master.
Alphano knows what's up.
A legitimate concern. Allow me to clarify then. The chairman bids you consider this as an expression of his heartfelt contrition for the bloody banquet and the unpleasantness which followed. Never having been one to put stock in words alone, the chairman deems the provision of material aid to be a more appropriate demonstration of his sincerity.
He likes to pay.
By sheer coincidence, your purpose here also happens to coincide with our own interests. That is, assuming you are come to aid the Doman Liberation Front.
How could... I will not bother to offer a denial. You have the right of it. To be specific, we are come in search of our Far Eastern allies, Yugiri and Gosetsu, whom we hope to assist in their fight.
The Aori Shinobi and the Rugadan Samurai? Then you will be pleased to know that they have both come to Kugani.
Are you sure?
Quite. They came here aboard a company vessel, you see. However, they encountered difficulty securing passage across the Ruby Sea.
Why is that?
The Ruby Sea? Sorry, I've never been any good at geography.
Forgive me. This calls for a map.
A map. Thanks, Hancock.
We are here in Kugani, the sole open port of Hingashi, situated on her western coast. Doma, meanwhile, is here on the eastern coast of Otherd in Yansha. Therefore, if your friends are to reach Doma, they must first cross the Ruby Sea. Alas, this is easier said than done, as the Ruby Sea does not fall within the dominion of either Hingashi or Doma, being controlled since antiquity by a third party, namely the Confederacy. Said maritime collective is known for the consummate skill of its sailors, and for demanding that any vessel entering its waters pay a toll referred to as the Ruby Tithe. In exchange, the Confederacy's vast fleet guarantees the safety of those who travel within its territory. Now, as I'm sure you are aware, Garlemald conquered Doma some 25 years past, at which time the Empire saw no value in controlling the Ruby Sea, and thus did they turn a blind eye to the activities of the Confederacy.
Just let him have it.
The recently appointed acting Imperial Viceroy of Doma had other ideas, however. She has formally condemned the Confederacy and declared that any who recognize their authority shall be branded enemies of the Empire. Bowing to this pressure, Hingashi severed ties with these toll-takers and forbade the payment of the Ruby Tithe, prompting the Confederacy to make it known that any merchants choosing to sail the Ruby Sea would do so at their peril.
No wonder they struggled to secure passage to Doma. What captain would risk such a journey given the circumstances?
I am told your friends were not so easily deterred from their course, but I know not whether their persistence bore fruit.
I say we follow in Yugiri and Gosetsu's footsteps and attempt to secure passage to Doma for ourselves. We will need to cross the sea in any case, and we may learn something of their whereabouts in the process. And should we find that they are still in Kugane, we can make the journey together.
In that case, I have some information which may be of use to you. No quid pro quo, I assure you. The chairman was most insistent that I aid you to the best of my ability.
What a sincere smile. Though I am reluctant to take any action whatsoever that would be construed as placing ourselves in Lord Lodorito's debt, we must avail ourselves of what means are available. Our Alamegan allies place their faith in us, and I do not intend to disappoint them. It would seem inefficient for us all to venture out together in search of information on Yugiri and Gosetsu's whereabouts. Agreed? Agreed. We need to cast our net wider, split up and pursue all available avenues of inquiry, but if we're to coordinate our efforts effectively, we'll need to establish a working base of operations here. Indeed, Dotara would seem best suited to the task of organizing our supplies and procuring new ones. Yeah. While she attends to that, we four can begin our search by questioning the individuals Hancock identified. Alize and I will take those in southern districts of the city, and the two of you can take those in the north. In anticipation of just such an eventuality, I took the liberty of preparing some few sketches of Yugiri and Gosetsu during our voyage. And I'll give you something that you can't see. Wow, Yoshitola warned me that you were a bit of an artist, but these are great. They'll definitely come in handy. Looks like it's you and me, Malkazar. Let's step outside and talk about where to start. You got it. Or let's not step outside. Oh, we are outside. Wow, often those sketches are so I don't know how to put it, but they're very, we'll see for yourself. I just looked at it. View at any time, key quest items, okay. Oh, I gotta view it with lease. I read the quest text to make sure I'm doing it right. It looks more like them than they do, honestly. How can he can make a living doing this? Oh, sorry, no time for distractions. Why don't we start by visiting Karaku at the onsen? That was it. We're going to the onsen first. Alright, which one is it? Over by the... By Cairo Inn. Oh, Cairo Inn. There it is. Hopefully my efficient breathing comes back. It's a little short breathed. Feeling better, a lot better in other ways, though. Come on, Kamal. Burns, cuts, embarrassing rashes. There is not that the mystical waters of the Bokaisen hot springs cannot heal. Oh, what is that in your hand? Right here before you. Teleporting's right. You seek this Al-Ra and this Rogan, do you? 1,000 apologies, but I cannot help you. It is against our policy to divulge information regarding patrons past or present. Please, we came all the way from Mayorsia to find our friends. We have our reputation to consider, miss. Men and women from all walks of life come in here in search of rejuvenation, body and soul. They seek privacy and discretion, and we have ever honored their wishes. Only the Sekisei Gumi may demand otherwise. I am sorry, but there's none I can do. I suppose we'll just have to ask someone else then. What about the woman who runs the hostelry? Otakaze, was it? On to the hostelry? Yeah. Oh, let's take a look. Oh, look, there's something right over there too. That one I could probably get to. We're gonna walk on these. Oh man. Oh well. They do make them more difficult. But that's fine. That's that one. That's the tough one I was telling about. I've never gotten that one before. But then again, I have never gotten all of them. Even without that one. This place is pretty beautiful. Too bad most of it's for looks, like much of the cities. Welcome, traveler. Can I interest you in some rice wine? Exceptional quality, delivered but the other day. An Aori shinobi and Rogadin samurai. If I may, I would answer your question with a few of my own. If I speak of that with which you know, Ajin, may be not offended. You are familiar with the situation in the lands of across the Ruby Sea. They're doing rebellion after 2.5 decades of quiet, right? I see, and you are familiar with the ways of Hingashi, how we look to stand apart and support no cause but our own. Indifferent and callous, some may call us, but pragmatism is essential if a humble island nation so desires is to survive. But we are not fools. Complete isolation is impractical, and so Kagane is open to Ijin, and we're equally hospitable to all. Or if I must speak more plainly, yes, I can help you, but if I do, I must also oblige the ones who ask after you. Are you willing to accept this fair and equitable treatment? If anyone comes looking for us, tell them whatever you like. As you wish. The two individuals of whom you spoke did indeed come here. They sought passage across the Ruby Sea. These ships are willing to make the trip at the moment. Nevertheless, I made several introductions on their behalf. That was the extent of our interaction. I'll provide you with the names of the captains if you'd like. You've been a great help, Mistress Kodakaze. I'll be sure to come back for that wine sometime. We would welcome your custom, miss. We would welcome your money. That's what she just said. We should question these captains as soon as we can. You take the first 3, I'll take the rest. We'll meet here when it's finished. All right? Good luck. I'm still missing a couple of the upgraded pieces. Mainly the hands. Oh. Ah, and I got those out of the dungeon. Those are a little bit better too. I'll put those on. I have to go the other way. Okay. What the? Hopefully this will get me where I want to go. Yeah, I was trying to get to this bridge. What is this gate for? Oh, that's the airship landing. Alright, so there's one right there. Perfect. Passengers? No, we no longer offer that service. Too much trouble. Now we only transport goods. I told this to the samurai and sent him on his way. A woman? Ah, if it is women you seek, the pleasure houses have plenty. Useless. There's one right there. Kurt Captain. Kurt Schilling Captain. Yes, a Rogan gentleman did approach me. He wanted to charter a ship to take him across the Ruby Sea, the mad devil. I sent him away, like all of us before him. The woman? May I know her not. Oh, there we go. You asked me if I've seen this Aori woman and this Rogan samurai? The woman is unknown to me, but the man is not. He was for Doma, but I could not help him. We travel solely between here and Rad's at hand. It would be an unreasonable detour. And I know there are maps outside the game, I just can't seem to figure it out from inside the game. Where the world map is. Oh, there we go. Would you look at that? So this is where we've played most of the time so far. All these dungeons or these things I'm ignoring. So this is where the first game and Heavensward took place. And then there's these 4 right here. First game, then Kurthus, Dravania, and Abalathia's Spine. Yep. And Azisla as well. We're all part of Heavensward. And then Garabania opened up. We did that, and now we went all the way across the other side. Right here, this cloudy area is where Garlemald is. There's Garlemald here on the right, or on the left now. Now we make our way over here to try to get into there. That is our goal. Now there was one other thing on that map called Norvrent, which I have never actually been to. That is the Shadowbringers expansion, which hopefully we'll get to and get to before the expansion comes out. Endwalker. How did it? Oh, never mind. Judging from the look in your face, you didn't have much better luck than I did. Junk. There are the hands. Well, I suppose we might as well head back to... Wait, I've just remembered. There was someone on my list I forgot to visit. Gyoto. He's a Namazu fisherman, whatever that means. And a regular here. Maybe we'll find him if we look around. Alright, where's this Namazu? Am I going the wrong way? Yep, of course. And there he is. Namazu himself. Her face. What? Why do you stare? You have business with me? By the 12, a talking fish. Yes, a talking fish. How very observant of you, Eugene. You find me in good spirits, so your rudeness I will ignore this once, but only if you address me again in the proper manner. Sorry, I've never met it. Let's start again. You're Gyoto, right? My name is Lise, and this is Malkazir. We're looking for some friends of ours. And look at this picture. I see. Both these ones I know well. I helped them secure passage across the Ruby Sea. Really, that's wonderful. Could you do the same for us? Yes, that should not be a problem. For you, I could chart our ship this very day. The journey is fraught with much peril. The fare will not be cheap. And are you sure you can afford to pay? I didn't think to bring any money. Surely Tatara will let us take whatever we need from the Scion's coffers, right? You're getting in trouble. Look at us. Nope. We wouldn't be the only passengers, though. Can we take a moment to talk it over with our friends? Yes, but hurry, that your ship must depart under the cover of darkness. We shall meet again at the sunset and the Tosagari Bridge. But do not forget your fare. Bring Minigil, yes? It's about time our luck changed. Now Alphino and the others will be thrilled. Will they? Alright, well, let's get over there. Talk to him, figure out what we need. Oh, do I have to head in? Yeah. Another one of those situations, you have to talk to somebody to get into somewhere else, as opposed to just having to be open. He spoke with a number of merchants and captains at the southern piers. Several recognized Gosetsu and confirmed that he had been searching for a vessel to deliver him to Othard. None, however, made any mention of Lady Ugiri. Yes, it was the same story for us. And then you'll never believe what happened. Explain. So this Gyoto claims to have aided both Gosetsu and Ugiri? How fortuitous. Not the word that I would have chosen, Master Alphino. Stupid is what I'd call it. How can you agree to his price without making any attempt to haggle? Or even confirming what it was in the first place? Yes, that too was a misstep on their part, but that is not what troubles me most. Gyoto and his brethren are not renowned for their generosity of spirit. Rather, they are disdained as scheming moneylenders, ever eager to turn a profit from others' misfortune. Everyone else we questioned stated that Gosetsu was alone. Only Gyoto claims to have met both him and Yugiri. I suppose it's just possible that Gosetsu made the inquiries by himself and only called upon Yugiri once he had found a willing captain. But it is equally possible, if not more likely, that you are being deceived. Do not forget that there are parties present in Kugane with agendas which may run contrary to your own. The Viceroy was once a spy herself, as I recall. I should be surprised if she did not have countless agents here in her employ, all eager to prove themselves to their new master. And what better way to do so than by delivering her the heads of foreign insurgents? Fine, you may be right about it, but if Gyoto's working for the Empire, who's to say he didn't try the same trick on Yugiri and Gosetsu? I mean, if he did, he might know where they are, and if he succeeded, they might be in trouble. True? Anyway, if he holds up his end of the bargain, we'll have nothing to worry about, will we? But if he tries to betray us, I vote we take him prisoner and punch him till he tells us the truth. So if it's a trap, we'll spring it and deal the consequences. I like the way you think. Very well, we should prepare for the worst. Dotaro will remain here, and I shall follow the three of you at a discreet distance. Once more, I must caution you to avoid physical altercations at all costs, even should Imperial agents attempt to engage you. The Sekisei Gumi will not hesitate to clap you in irons or cut you down. If anything untoward should happen, you are to return here at once. Is that clear? Alright, Alize. Review Lise Malgazer and I will meet with Gyoto as planned. Alpha will keep watch from distance, ready to provide support in the likely event that Gyoto attempts to betray us to the Imperials or whomever else. Should that happen, you and Lise will subdue him, and together we will make our escape. As our actions will surely draw the attention of the Sekisei Gume, we will evade them with Salfano's assistance and return here with our prisoner. Does that meet with everyone's approval? Of course, these precautions will be for naught if Gyoto does not play us for fools. But we shall see. The bridge. This is a bucket. Let's do this. Too bad I don't have like a bard or a machinist. I could go pick up Dancer if I wanted to, just to get the Peloton, but that's fine. I'll do that another day. Once I actually finish all the story and get it all caught up, I may actually start working on side jobs. Especially these ones that I already have going, because I do like the scholar healing. Our would-be allies are nowhere to be seen. Make ready, Malgazer. Something smells fishy.
He's late.
Endless and most sincere apologies to you and yours, yes, yes. This way, quickly now.
Enough. Where are you taking us? Where is the ship?
This ship. So very sorry to inform you, yes. Long before was it pledged to another. To me, these ones are for Doma.
A little traitor. He can't be a traitor. He had no loyalty to us in the first place.
I knew it couldn't be this simple.
Nothing personal, yes. Just business.
Then business is about to take a turn for the worse. Come on, let's find a way out of here.
We're not supposed to be fighting. We'll get killed by the samurai cops. Whatever. In retrospect, we probably should have. Whatever, Alpha now. Alright, brother. Fight now. Talk later. I'll hold on to Kyoto. You deal with the Imperials. Why did I get an obsidian carbuncle? It's a special carbuncle made just for him. Oh, she has full-on red mage stuff. Cool. There's an alarm. As expected, the Sekisei have caught our scent. Since fighting them is out of the question, we'll have to wind our way back to the bazaar, evading the patrols as we go. Ooh, stealth mission. I don't mind a little bit of stealth. If they find you, use the smoke bombs to make your escape. If there's a game that's almost entirely stealth, attacking them will result in failure. Yeah, there are some games out there that are almost entirely stealth. I like having the option, but not being forced to do it. Like if it's a game's entirely stealth, then it gets a little bit annoying for me. Same with games that have a lot of PvP. It's like, this game is PvP only. I'm like, well, then I'm not playing it. You there, lay down your arms and surrender at once. Use a smoke bomb so we can escape. Oh, now we can go this way. But it only lasts for like 5 seconds. Oh, gotta go up this way. Okay. The streets are crawling with him. Keep the smoke bombs ready. Oh, bugger. They've got a whole squadron up front. What do we do? Oh, someone's saying, come with me. What? First a talking fish and now a tortoise. What have we got to lose? Alright, well, I'm coming with you then. Ninja Turtles, man. I think quite literally. Hey, the 12, you made it. I feared our Kojin friend may not find you in time. Everything is going to be alright, trust me. Success. We were sneaky enough.
Stay hidden and quiet. Understood?
Clear the road! Clear the road! You there, Korjin. We seek 4 foreigners. One, a brutish woman carrying an unconscious Namazu. Have you seen them?
A brutish woman. I'm mad about that.
4 foreigners, you say? Ah, yes! Very rude they were, making no apology as they barged past. They went that way, I think.
Many thanks, good sir. With me, they cannot have gone far.
All is well. The Sekisei Gumi will not return this way for some time, I should think. You are of the East Aldenard Trading Company, yes? Come with me. I know a safer way.
Well, we aren't, but okay. If that's why you saved us, as you thought we were, then by all means.
You are returned. And with guests, I see.
Our meeting went about as well as expected. We've brought the Namazu who thought to betray us. When he wakes up, we'll see what he knows about Yugiri and Gazetsu.
Well done, you. When I saw the Sekisei Gumi out in force, I did begin to worry, but I see my fears were misplaced.
Actually, if it weren't for Soroban, we might not have gotten away.
'Twas my pleasure.
Yet I must ask, Soroban, why would you deceive the Sekisegumi to help us, foreigners of whom you know naught?
Why, out of the kindness of my heart, is what I would like to say, but my motives are not so pure. I chanced to witness your meeting with Hancock at the tavern and saw an opportunity.
An opportunity?
Like many, I came to Kugane as a trader to make my fortune. Kojin of the Red may serve the Empire as mercenaries, but Kojin of the Blue walk a different path. Regretfully, most here would rather not meet our gaze, much less do business. So I seek the custom of those less predisposed to dismiss us outright, namely the East Aldenard Trading Company.
Quid pro quo, is it? Well, there is no denying that we owe you a debt. What say you, Hancock? Will you consider doing business with our entrepreneurial friend here?
Rest assured, Master Soroban, that in matters of trade, the company does not discriminate. We would be honored to hear your proposal.
I promise you will not regret this, good sir.
Hopefully it works out for you, Sorban. You're a cool dude.
Ah, yes. You sought passage across the Ruby Sea, did you not? I have a ship you can use.
You do? Well then, far be it from us to refuse. You have our deepest thanks.
And you mine.
Look at that. It works out for everybody. I'm still annoyed he tried to deceive us, but at least we were prepared for it. Even so, next time we should probably try to avoid running around Kugane in the middle of the night with half the city guard snapping at our heels. That would make sense. Now I mainly match. Oh man, cool. Right then, Yoda should be coming around soon. I think it's time we had a little chat, don't you? Making the catfish sing, that's the name of the quest. Sorry, I'm out of the residence time, little fishy. I know you can hear me, so start pretending to be asleep or I'll give you another ride on my boot. No, more boots. All my secrets are yours for the asking. Tell us what you know about Yugiri and Gosetsu. Every last detail. You'll find out later that you lied to me. No more lies. The clear, unvarnished truth. You have my word. Only the samurai did I meet. Yes, only him. He asked for a ship, so I provided an introduction to the Garleans. You mean you led him into the trap as you did us, because you are an Imperial spy? No, I am no spy. It was just business. Fewer ships pass through Kugane these days, and we've struggled to make ends meet. And the Garleans offered a bounty for any domans found in Kugane. Oh, my mistake. You're not a spy, but a common cutthroat. Not that I'm surprised. You need half a brain to be a spy. So what happened to the samurai? Such a cruel, vicious tongue you have. You would not go quietly. No. Blades were drawn, men were cut down, and the Sekisei Gume came. They took the samurai away. Hold on a moment. You mean to tell me the Iji and the rest of the other day was Gosetsu? Oh, had I but known. If he is in the custody of the Sekisei Gume, I need only see to it that the requisite funds find their way into the right official's hands, and your friend will walk free. As it is in Ura, so it is in Kugane. But given the circumstances, it seems we have no choice but to resort to morally questionable means. We'll make a pragmatist out of you yet, Master Alphino. You are free to wait here while I speak with the relevant official, but if you would rather wait for Gosetsu outside the barracks, we can go together. I wouldn't put it past the Imperials to try something again, so mayhap it would be best if Lise, Malgazer, and I joined you. Alright, but what about Gyoto? I will keep an eye on him for the time being. We can release him after you return with Gosetsu. You will doubtless have some choice words to say to the little fellow. Sorban, mayhap it would be prudent to prepare your ship for our immediate departure. As you wish. Everything is in order? Then let us be off. The Sekisei Gume barracks are to the north. So I know where they already have the teleport. I can't wait till I get level 70 on a paladin. Their ability, passage at arms, is just so cool looking and very useful. Yeah, it's just teleporting. It essentially gives you like, it looks like wings, but it's really not. But it's like a cone behind you that everyone's protected. Any damage while they're in that cone is reduced significantly. It's awesome. I must ask that you wait here. You may be assured that this will not take long. Is it really going to be as simple as he says, do you think? Said it wouldn't take long, right? Because this feels a bit long to me. Calm down, Lise. Where is Alize? There she is. Everything is going to be alright. But as I hate to admit it, I share Hancock's dim view of government officials and their supposed incorruptibility. From what I've gleaned of the Far East, they're probably exchanging lengthy pleasantries. There seems to be a correct way of doing everything here, bribery being no exception. I say we leave it to them. Right, Malgazer? Right, everything's fine. Probably. I mean, it couldn't be as bad as last time we stood around waiting for something to happen.
How about you?
Was that? That was Gazetsu. I'm sure of it. He's in trouble. Lise, wait!
I suppose we should follow her then.
The wooden swords.
To the samurai!
Aren't we all samurai? He's huge.
How many is that now? 10 in a row?
Gazetsu!
Oh, this is a surprise! What in blue blazes are you three doing here?
I could ask you the same thing. We've been looking all over for you, and then I suddenly heard you screaming.
It would seem there has been a misunderstanding. Allow me to explain.
It's funny because his explanation, which we actually know nothing about, but there's no reason to really skip it, they don't tell us what it is. But she's going to paraphrase. Yeah.
You started a brawl with some off-duty Imperial soldiers and were subsequently arrested by the Sekisukumi, whom you somehow befriended and convinced to set you free if you could defeat a given number of them in single combat.
10 bouts for my freedom, aye. 'Tis but a pity you came too late to witness the last. And with that, I'm free to go, yes?
Our word once given may not be broken, but we pray you make every effort to avoid future altercations. Circumstances notwithstanding, my lord, we are honored and grateful to have witnessed firsthand the skill of a Doma samurai.
And we had just concluded negotiations. I gather my assistance was not required.
Just laugh it up. Is there more cinematic? Oh, no. Yeah. I must apologize that you endured such trials and tribulations in search of me. There's no need for that. You had no way of knowing we would come looking for you. You were after a ship to take you to Doma, yes? It just so happens we found a willing captain. What? Or, sorry, truly, what fortune? We will tell you all about it back at the company offices. Alphino and Totaro are waiting for us there. Okay. I was looking at the quest list to see where I was. Definitely not even halfway through, at least even the main Stormblood quests. Gosetsu, I think the 12, you are unharmed. As you can see, Master Alphino, I am the very picture of health. You vile fiend, malevolent trickster. How kind the Kami are to grant me vengeance so soon. But first, I demand you return the coin you so villainously embezzled from me. You have every right to be angry, good sir. Gladly would I return to your coin, but had I not been forced to repay certain gambling debts beforehand. Setting the matter aside for the moment, where is Lady Yugiri? Was she not traveling with you? For a time, but we parted ways some while ago. Better to improve our chances of finding Lord Hien. Lord Hien? Forgive me, I have yet to explain. Lord Hien is the heir to Doma's throne, and our master. His was a passionate voice for the cause of Doman liberation, and when we learned of the Emperor's death, it only grew louder. So you seized upon the opportunity and rose up to reclaim your freedom, only for your hopes to be dashed when Xenos led his army unto your lands. The Crown Prince was a merciless foe. Against him and the might of the 12th, we had no chance. Once Lord Hien understood this, he bade Yugiri take to the sea with as many of our people as possible. He, however, would stand and fight, that they might have more time to escape. I remained by his side as well, and together we carried on our doomed war. And then one day, in a fierce battle, we were separated. I knew not what became of him, only that he was beyond the Empire's reach, and that to find him, I would need Yugiri's aid. The situation grows more perilous by the day, for the new Viceroy, Yatsuyu, is a black-hearted villainess who delights in the torment of our people. There is naught she would not do to further her pursuit of Lord Hien. Thank you. I believe that makes matters a good deal clearer. It should please you to learn that we are come to aid the Doman Liberation Front in resuming their efforts to overthrow their imperial oppressors. And allow me to join you. My inquiries here bore no fruit, hence my desire to return to Othard. Once there, I can lead you to our headquarters in Yangsha, where we shall be reunited with Yugiri. Mayhap not all. Alphino's talents would seem better applied here in Kugane, working closely with Totaro and Hancock to feed his intelligence. There is a Garlean embassy just down the road, after all. While I appreciate the vote of confidence, I should be glad to accompany you all. As a soldier in the field, so to speak. Come now, brother, a competent commander assigns his soldiers to tasks best suited to them, as you of all people should know, and you are so very good at espionage and intrigue. For we all must serve each in our own way. Very well, you would see my place is here. He wants to go. Are we there yet? Sorbonne is waiting at the pier. Have fun, you lot. Alright, so... hostelry, okay. Where can you take me? Limbs are for 300. It's a lot cheaper. Look at that. Like I was saying how max is 999 because everything over on the other continent. Look at that. That's good to know. There's ferry skippers right here. Ooh. Falcon Porter. Well, good thing I checked that. Where can you take me? Okay, so I don't have any other ones. I've been waiting for you, my friends. All preparations have been completed, and my ship awaits its passengers. Shall I depart without further delay? After you, my shelled friend. If you insist, with me, everyone, the Ruby Sea awaits. Garlemald. Yes, here, there's the full map. We moved 2 inches.
I remember the water, how it turned crimson in the morning sun. A shimmering sea of rubies, stretching from horizon to horizon. You could almost believe it went on forever. But beyond that red expanse lay a land in turmoil. On the shores of Othard, our Doman brothers struggled in vain.
How wide and beautiful she is, the Ruby Sea, filled with promise and adventure and treasures. Many wonderful treasures. We get a new title. Destination unknown, Asian traveler. Yes. Now, in order to reach the shores of Othard, you will need to cross the resplendent waters you see before you. However, this is easier said than done. To set forth without making the necessary preparations is to invite the Confederacy to claim your vessel, and your life should you resist. But this fate can be avoided by paying the Ruby Tithe, thereby earning you the blessing of the Pirate Lords. So let us go and greet them. Our destination is the Isle to the west. Doesn't look very far to me, Malgazur. Why don't we jump in and swim for it? I've had my fill of boats. Excellent idea. I think you'll find the water to your liking. I use my ship to deliver those less inclined to the Isle. Well, let's see if there's any of those giant mushrooms. Let's see if there's any aether currents nearby. I could swim with all this armor. That's realistic. Alright, this should be easy, and a good way to loosen up for the next fight. Whenever it comes. 20 gil says I beat you there. Okay. I like how sprint actually affects the swim speed. New location. Alright, where is this? Is it up top? Yeah, it's probably up there. You know, I'm actually gonna... There we go. Switch up a little bit. Ah, there you are. I trust you enjoyed yourselves. Follow me, my friends. The one with whom we must speak is a man named Tensui. Oh, look, if you go the way he actually goes, then you go up these stairs, which is exactly what you need to do. Sometimes you have to pay attention where they go, because if you miss it, they'd be like, where do I go? And then you go around and don't find the actual entrance for a while, which I've done many times in Borderlands. Alright, let's find the aether current before I do anything. I'll talk to you in momentarily. I'll get it. Oh, there's actually more stairs on this side too. I see them right there. Later, Tatsunoko. Whatever, bomb fish. Okay. I fear you have the advantage of me. Explain, 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 with a bomb next to me. Most honorable and esteemed Malchazir Earthfighter, I am Tansui, a humble mate who serves at the pleasure of the Confederacy's captain. As you are in the company of the Shellback, I presume we have business to discuss. I would say so. Look, I'm already getting even upgrades to what I already got upgraded. Nice. You wish to pay the ruby tithe, yes? With your guild, perhaps? It is just as well. Foreign currencies are in demand these days. I would pay for their passage to Authard. Does this sum meet with your satisfaction? The sea has been quite tempestuous of late. I cannot say with confidence that you would reach your destination safely, unless you tripled it. You took me for a fool? I know the price, as do all. Alas, we live in interesting times. As you came from Kugane, I should think I need not tell you that. The shadow of war looms. The wise and the cautious shirk our waters and our custom, and the foolhardy sharpen their knives in anticipation. Meaning... Sir, sir, you gotta come quickly. The bastards are at it again. I tried to convince them to stop, but they weren't having it. Very well, I will be there shortly. A proposition. Your comment strike me as a worthwhile investment. I would not hear men name me a cat for Koban, so I shall consider the tithe paid. Not for what they have done, but what for I expect they will do. I'm not sure what to make of that man, but at least the matter of our tithe is settled, for now. What was that he and the other pirate were talking about? Maybe we ought to go have a look. Yep, let's do it. Thorban's like, what? Well, look. It's kind of far. Okay, what's the next one? North. I need to go that way anyway. Ow. I almost lost all my health there. Well, I can't die, but I just don't want to get into a fight right now. Hey, look, flying sharks. And it's literally called a flying shark. I have to go this way. That lovely tower that you can't see the top of, I believe it's called Heaven on High, and it is the next version of the Palace of the Dead, which I still haven't done. Where is this thing? Oh, it's over there. I'll deal with it later then. I think I'm at the point though where I can actually get everything in one zone now. These ones aren't split in half, I don't believe. Or maybe they are, just been a while. There we go. Giant. Look at that thing. Is that another fate or is that a hunt? That's a hunt. Alright, so search for Tansui. There it is. And then there are fire crabs too. Look at those guys. There's Lise over there. Sucks they don't have a lot of voice acting going on right now, but it's fine. Taking it back.
Gentlemen, I'm told you were most unreceptive to my associate's requests. I realize you do not look kindly on the Confederacy and her ways, but if you refuse to pay the ruby tithe, your safety in these waters cannot be assured.
Spare me your concern, pilot. Your feeble attempts at extortion will not work on us. You remain at large because we allow it. Because you are such insignificant little pests that we see no need to swat you. But if you wish to risk the ire of the Viceroy, by all means, fire upon an Imperial vessel. Give us a reason to bring the full might of the Garlean Empire to bear against your pathetic fleet.
Bastards!
Gentlemen, surely the fact that you have such limitless resources at your disposal gives you all the more reason to spare some few coins for the less fortunate.
All talk, just as I thought. Come, let us away. I have no time for this rubbish.
I like how he has like grenades on his belt that are actually little bombs that are following me around. Cute. If I can see him again, I'll show you.
We're all the same to them, aren't we? Savages to be ruled or slaughtered.
They balked at paying the ruby tithe, but they were never so eager to pick a fight. The problem, you see, is that many of my comrades in the Confederacy are of Doman descent, and the acting Viceroy, well, she's none too fond of Domans, to say the least. If we take any action to hinder the safe passage of an Imperial vessel, she'll accuse us of attempting to foment rebellion and brand us enemies of the Empire, which we can ill afford to be. Like the man said, we're all talk.
And where did the Kojin stand in all this?
With the winning side, of course. They're mercenaries to a fault, eager to offer their services without coercion. The Shellback could tell you more, though something tells me he would rather not.
And he's not even right there.
I don't understand. If the Garleans are causing the Confederacy this much trouble, and if so many of you are Doman to begin with, why aren't you willing to fight back?
Spoken like a true friend of the Doman Liberation Front. If you're planning to rouse us with noble words and grand promises, don't bother. We all know what the Imperial Army can do. Compared to them, we're boys with boats. Besides, what ties a man may once have held to his home are forsaken upon joining the Confederacy. We look out for none but our own.
She's so fiery, this expansion.
That as it may, our livelihood is under threat. And the captain will need to decide soon whether we're to go down in a blaze of glory or bow and scrape for crumbs from the Emperor's table. All while our friend the Viceroy continues her purge of Doma's radical elements. I believe she's holding court in one of the fishing villages even as we speak.
That she-devil! Her perfidy knows no bounds! She must be stopped! Come, let us find Soroban and put us here at once!
Tell the others that these ones have paid. We all have places to be.
We're going to find Sorban, or am I going to go find an Aether Current? Maybe both. What are we waiting for? Come, come. Sorban cannot have gone far. But now that I think on it, it is passing strange that he left without warning. Mayhap he did not want to be seen by his cogent brethren? I doubt he thought to leave us behind, but nevertheless, it may be prudent to return to his ship, or at least to the Confederate encampment. Dropping stuff. Perfect. Okay. Where's the nearest Aether compass? Northeast? Is that one spot over there? You know, I'm just gonna go back. Worry about Aether currents another time. Excuse me. Extra experience fate, the F-bomb. I think I'm good at experience right now. Probably be low to mid 70s by the time I get to Shadowbringers, which is fine with me. There he is. Oh, my friends, 1,000 pardons. As you may have guessed, I was reluctant to be seen in your company by my red brothers. Ours is a complex relationship. I pray you didn't misinterpret their actions as a reflection of our allegiances as a whole. You understand? God may be praised. Too often are the shellless quick to judge all Kojin for the deeds of the one. Right then, now that our business with Chansui is concluded, we can traverse the Ruby Sea without fear. Where's my chocobo? Chabo Cabo, come on. Alright. You won't do that again? Actually, did I put those new pants on? I did not. I shall return to the ship and prepare for our departure. If you have any remaining business to conduct with the pirates here, I pray you do so now. Ah, that reminds me, Malgazer. Would you be so kind as to inform the Confederates of our plans? The more they know of our movements, the less likely we are to be mistaken for another vessel by their comrades. And there's a blue quest to go look at. I'll look at that too. What do you have for me, Yusui? Aw, man. All the way back. Oh, you're one of the Ijin from the beach? Leaving us already? No need to pay the tithe, like Tansui said. On the other hand, if you were to peruse our wares and find anything to your liking, we would be glad to sell it to you at a fair price. Okay, so that one wants me to go this way anyway, to the boat. I'm actually going to go do this one real quick. Actually, let's see what this one says. You have spoken to Confederates above then? Excellent. If you're ready to depart, we may do so at any time. Alright, I'm gonna go do that one real quick. I wonder if I can keep the... I think it'll dismount me when I get in the water. Yeah. Yep. Saw that coming. I saw her the other day. So I have to go all the way over there. Bendoxe. What a pain. Let's get over to the ground. Now I can mount up and go get that. Sprint. Show me your speed. Whatever. Faces. Confront a Bakufu trader. All these fates. No one doing them. He did. All the... Sorry for this detour, but I'd rather get it done now and not have to worry about it later. Get back on. Swimmity, swim, swimmity, swim, swim, surrey. There's a dungeon in there. It's pretty cool, actually. I don't know if it's part of the story. I know that it's there's a lot of primal stuff in there. So it seems a lot more. I don't need to read this. This is just this. Okay, cool. Now let's get back out there and get to the story. Beautiful. Rasengan. Let's talk Sorban. Yep, let's go. And let us be off. I shall deliver you to the fishing village of Isari. Wait, Tansui said the Viceroy was holding court in one of the fishing villages, did he not? If Isari chanced to be the village in question, we should instantly find ourselves surrounded by Imperial soldiers. I think it's safer to come ashore some distance away. Very well, I know just the place. That was quick. I like it. Okay. Yep, all the way over here. Here we are. I am reasonably certain none bore witness to our approach. And with this, I believe I have fulfilled the terms of our agreement. Aye, that you have. You have my deepest thanks, Sorban. Truly, you are blessed to have befriended such a clever and industrious merchant. You are much too kind, good sir. I know not where your path may lead, but I wish you the very best, and I hope that we shall meet again. We finally arrived in Othar. All we needed to do now is liberate Doma. Ah yes, that. Look, daunting though that it is, we do have one thing in our favor, the element of surprise. Unlike Garibania, the Imperials don't know we're here. Admittedly, that may be our only advantage, considering how few of us there are. Well, I expect the Doman Liberation Front will even up the odds a bit, but before all that, we need to see if this fishing village Tansui was talking about. Or if this is the fishing village. Yep. Let's look at these rocks. It may well be. I smell ceruleum in the breeze. I mean, we're not too far from the village. It's right there. Yep, look at all those Imperials.
Even accounting for the rebellion, such indiscriminate shows of force seem pointlessly excessive.
If only you knew how commonplace such scenes have become. Are we too late?
Over there, someone's coming.
It's that dude.
It is she, sworn enemy of Doma, of my master, the traitor who sold her homeland to the Garleans, Yotsuyu.
The Viceroy herself. And look behind her. Isn't that...
Filth and squalor everywhere, I think. How very Doman. What I wouldn't do for a drink.
Talks very quietly. Generally.
Come now. You've no reason to look so afraid. You have lived through a quarter of a century of Garlean rule, remember? 'Tis better to bend with the wind than stand tall and be broken. Therein lies hope. Therein lies freedom. I come before you today seeking affirmation. A heartfelt declaration. You are free to answer me as you see fit, yet even the least among you should know the correct response. Should A resident of your village, one of your neighbors, mayhap your friend, was detained by the Korjin this morning. They say he was attempting to flee to Kugane, but we both know that simply isn't true, don't we? Have you anything to say? Bit slow, this one. Is there anyone more sensible among you? Have any of you anything to say? To swear?
My lady, I swear to serve the Empire, to do whatever is asked of me, and never disobey.
Well said, that man. Of course, it wouldn't do to simply take you at your word. Kill him. Surely you can do that much. He must be guilty of something or other, or he wouldn't have attempted to flee the Empire.
The evil empire.
I have a family. Kami, forgive me. Kami, forgive me.
Very, very good. I've always had a soft spot for men like you. Next, I want you to shoot those two over there. Too old to work, you understand. A burden on the Empire. We can't have that.
But they're my parents. You can't expect me to...
We can't, not now.
He's right. They would simply take the villagers hostage. We must consider the wider picture. If we act recklessly, we risk alerting the Garleans to our presence here, making it that much harder for us to work with the local rebels. To say nothing of the reprisals ordinary civilians would be made to suffer.
Open your eyes, girl. They are already suffering. Let me go. I am putting an end to this madness. I will approach the village alone and identify myself. As a former leader of the rebellion and a known fugitive, they will wish to detain me until they are certain they have learned all I know. Use this time to make your plans.
You saw what those monsters did to the villagers. Who knows what they'll do to you, assuming they don't kill you where you stand?
We live and die at the pleasure of the Kami. My fate is in their hands and no others. If it be of any comfort, I am no stranger to chains.
You can't expect us to stand idly by as a comrade goes marching off to his death. And this is nothing like Kugane.
Nor is it like the Reach, Lise, or the Wall. Let him go. Hold out for as long as you can, but remember, noble sacrifices are to remain an absolute last resort. I wish I could say it won't come to that, but only the gods know how we're going to get you and the others out in one piece. A miracle, perchance.
A great tower stands to the north and east. Look to its occupants for aid and succor. Together, you may yet find your miracle. Now, leave this place. I must go.
How are we going to get to it? Our ride's gone.
Another idiot like all the rest. I'm beginning to think it may be something fundamental, something intrinsic, something quintessentially Doman to ignore the simple truth. You can't do a damn thing if you're dead.
Enough, Yotsuyu!
I'm here. Nobody saw me.
Well now, this is a surprise.
Hear me, Yotsuyu! Cease this farce, here and now, and I shall surrender myself to you. Refuse, and all shall answer to my blade.
Bring him to the tavern.
I hate to say as much as you, but even more. Every fiber of my being is crying out to intervene, but... Sorry, I hate it as much as you. Wish you didn't say. But what's done is done. Kosetsu's gamble has gifted us the time we need to find a solution. You bade us seek aid at the distant tower, yes? For want of a better idea, I say we do just that, while taking care to avoid the Imperials. What if I can just walk through them? Whatever. Taking care to avoid them. Not taking a further step further into the village, you've been warned. What are you going to do, kick me out? Yeah, you guys are all talk. I mean, I can't do anything anyway, but still. Alright, where's the nearest one of these? Northeast, so it's going to be up there. I think they have to expect you to just swim around. Alright, where is it? Should be around here somewhere. Southwest, so we actually missed it. There it is. Actually, I think I do need to jump in the water, because I think this ends right here, so... Took damage, and then I got into the water. And I know in real life hitting water from certain heights is not going to really matter, but... Not from up there. What is that creature? Gyuki. Okay. We seem to have evaded their patrol so far, even though I went right into the town and they yelled at me. They didn't catch me though. What is that tower anyway? I've never seen anything like it. According to my map, we are on Onokoro, and the tower is known as Heaven on High. Mysterious structure built long ago by persons unknown. Oh god, listen to me. I'm starting to sound like Alphino. Next thing you know, I'll say things like, as you are doubtless already aware. Over there, do you see it? Doesn't look like it's been dead long. Whoever did this, they're a good shot. I can't see a single stray arrow. I'm all the way over here. Well, someone's hungry. Wait, that wasn't either of you two, was it? Calm down. We had nothing to do with... Well, what am I doing? They can't possibly understand us. Probably not, no. Time to run, Lise. We save our strength for any that give chase. You too, Malxer. Or I can fight them all. Time to run, yet I need to fight them. Okay, that one's finished. Alright, where was the next Aether Compass? Or Aether... It's up northeast more. Ignore. Ignore. That one wants me to go straight through there. I'm gonna go find this Aether Current first. East. Okay. Well, I thought you said Weast. There it is. Excuse me. Come on. And then where's the next nearest one? Straight east, so it's probably going to be inside this area. It's called Crick? What? Weird. I'm actually going to go back and... Is it making me go back and fight more? Or at least talk to them? Okay. Later. Just imagine if they'd taken us by surprise. What a fine ending that would have been to our story. Anyway, I think it's safe to assume that people at the tower know how to defend themselves. You'd have to, sharing an island with these things. Now, all we need to do is convince them to help us. And if anybody saw, you can tell by the looks of it. For one, aha. And two, by the flags, you can tell who lives here. If anyone remembers the symbol on the map from before. Lunar whale. Oh, there's a settlement here. And they've got their own aetheryte. Wait a minute. I've seen this standard before. It was when we met Tansui, which means this place belongs to... Oh. It would seem we found a Confederate settlement, mayhap even their headquarters, judging by the size of the place. So Gosetsu bade us seek out the Confederacy for aid and succor. The self-same Confederacy that refused to openly oppose the Empire. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained, I suppose. At the very least, they're unlikely to ask for the tithe, as we've already paid it. Pardon me. Lunar whale. I wonder how much that thing actually costs. I know it's a cash shop thing, but I haven't looked. I think you can carry 8 passengers. Up to. Well, 7 passengers. 8 total, including the pilot. It's Tansui. What wind brings you hither of all places? Were you not bound for Othard shores? Explain, explain, explain. I see. I trust you have not forgotten our previous conversation on the subject. No? Then what do you want? A second opinion? Very well. With me. I'll take you to the captain, Rasho. Just like that? An audience with their leader? I'm very accommodating. We must each choose our words carefully. You leave it to me. I've always been good with people, and this will also give me a chance to use the Eastern greeting they showed me at Revenant's Toll. You've always been good with people, but you're not very convincing. You're still too straight and to the point, like Alze. I heard it. That's why I knew it was there. Where's the nearest one anyway, after that? Straight north, okay. It's Rasho. Greetings, ye must be Rasho, leader of the Confederacy, and so on. I realize it's a little bit of sudden, but the thing is, we have a little favor to ask. It's not very good. The gods, I've probably broken a half dozen rules of Far Eastern etiquette already. Well, I'm sorry about that, but we have to understand we're in a hurry, so I'm going to stop talking now. Yeah, you should stop talking, Lise. You're not a diplomat. Men who revere manners and tradition can be found the world over, but not here. Your candor is appreciated. Speak your heart. Explain, explain, explain. Why do I have to do it? Osetsu, a former leader of the rebellion. I know of him. Why he bade you petition us for aid and succor, however, I know not. At the risk of repeating myself, to join the Confederacy is to renounce all other ties. We are beholden to none, allied with none. When Doma was invaded by the Empire 25 years ago, we did not rush to our defense. Knowing this, do you honestly expect us to help you drive the Imperial forces out of Asari? The Garleans have long maintained a presence in this region, and we would be fools to break the peace, fragile as it is. Besides, you are capable warriors, yes? With guile and preparation, you can surely resolve this matter yourselves. It is imperative that our presence here remains secret as long as possible. For us to openly engage the Imperials at this time would endanger everything we have come here to achieve. You have told us why you cannot fight, not why we should fight in your stead. If you would speak to me of lives saved, I would speak to you of slaughter. How many will die when all pretense is lost and the Garleans declare war on the Confederacy? Hate is a luxury we cannot afford. You are free to come and go as you please, but you will receive no further aid. Thank you for your hospitality. If you would excuse us. Where is this other one? Is it over here? Oh, further north. Okay. We'll deal with that later then. Hey Malgazer, I know they didn't go well, but I'm not prepared to give up on them yet. Gosetsu told us to come here for a reason. He must have believed we could convince them to help us. We just have to work out how. My thoughts exactly. I'm glad to hear we're of the same mind. It's little wonder they refused. We have done naught to persuade them. The real work begins now. We need to learn more about the Confederacy, what their needs and weaknesses are. Once we know that, we will know how to earn their trust. Gather information. Was one. Taking an interest in the ship? Thank good eye. It's not much to look at now, but once upon a time she was a beauty. The Confederacy favors flotillas of smaller ships to capture and board errant vessels. The larger ones, like this Sekibune, only take part in major engagements. Not that we've had any of those recently, but with those Imperial bastards throwing their weight around, if it wasn't for them, well, no use moaning about what we can't change, right? There's more information to gather over there, too. I don't understand it. I didn't go in the deep water. Probably do it over here somewhere. Stacked crate. What can I find in a stacked crate? A number of crates and barrels have been stored here. A closer inspection, however, most are empty. Oh well. I'll just take it. If you look at my hands, I'm not even like turning the wheel. My other hand is just chilling there. The arms and armor have been piled up haphazardly. They display no signs of recent use or maintenance. Really? Look at that, I even did the random one and it still gave me the same amount. Come on. Bam! Had a good look around. Then we just need to wait for lease. Sorry to keep you waiting, but I wanted to talk to as many people as I could. Just as Tansui said, they have no intention of standing up to Yatsuyu. I don't know if you two got a different impression. Under the right circumstances, they might help us. I agree, it's obvious that they are struggling to survive and that they blame the Imperials for the recent troubles. Even if we do nothing, it is inevitable they will come into conflict with the Empire sooner or later, and deep down they all know it. The only thing holding them back at the moment is the belief that they lack the strength to survive the coming war. I don't know how I got that conclusion from what I did see, but whatever. So we need to prove to them that we're not all talk, that we can be valuable allies in the fight. I'm going to throw a nod out. Oh. And what better way to demonstrate our worth than by seeking out people with mundane problems and offering them our expert assistance. Per usual. Let's go do tedious stuff. It won't be the first time we've had to earn someone's trust by helping them out with this and that. And you know it won't be the last. Hope it'll be the last. I'll look around the western end of Onokoro. You two take the east. Good luck. Yeah. Oh, I got a new emote too. Eastern Bow. Look at that, 3 of them. So many. Ow. Okay, well, I'll just grab all 3 of them and then let's work them down. Like we always do. You strike me as a strong, capable individual. I've got a job for you, Westerner, and you if you are courageous as well. On the beach far to the west lies the carcass of a Gyuki feathered with arrows. I'd even go and retrieve those which may still be of use. While you're about it, I should be glad if you were to butcher its tail for meat. Very good meat, Gyuki tails, you know. I did say you would need to be a courageous sort, and I meant it. The beast was young. Do not be surprised if an angry mother mourns its child. Killed a baby. Of course he did. You there. You. Have you seen a bumbling clod of an Aura? A new recruiter ordered to patrol the northern edge of Onokoro. He is late in returning. A strange boy he was, quiet and brooding. Reluctant to speak unless spoken to first. Better that than a fool who never holds his tongue, perhaps. What is I doing dragging you back for the year? I cannot. Duty compels me to remain. You, on the other hand, have no such obligations, so find the dude. And it looks like this one's going to be actually back up these stairs. Could have just done this in the first place. Take me. What kind of pirate cannot suffer the sway of the ocean? A new recruit from far-flung shores? Listen well. I have a task for you. Go first to Ao Kumo below and receive of him medicine for men of the earth. Then to the Quickscape Pier and the hapless Doman bemoaning his bewretched fate. Quickly. Quickly. I'll go at my own pace, thank you. As I almost die. This one is finding the Aura. Find the missing Confederate recruit. There's no one matching his description. Well, yeah, there's no one around. The last spy, a young Auri man lurking beyond the rocks to the west. Okay. I don't know how I saw him, but okay. Who are you? You do not look like a man of the Confederacy. Forgive me, 'twas but yesterday we did bid farewell to one of our own, and had worried that she might have lost her way. We laid her to rest in a boat and pushed her out till the current claimed it. The sea is our home, now and ever after. But those sent thither with burdened hearts may drift back to shore, it is said. Out of concern for her comrade, she strove to earn far more than her keep. She hunted rare and deadly game in treacherous waters, and lost her life for it. But my vigil is ended. Her vessel has not returned to Onokoro. She has made peace with this life, and placed her faith in us to live on. Alright, one down. I have to go all the way back over there. Ridiculous. Look, Ma, no hands. Ooh. You should not aggro to me. Good. I'm 5 levels higher than you. Yep, I'm gonna have a fight on my hands here. Let's make sure my chocobo is fed. Perfect. Why did I have to click on it twice? Maybe I clicked on it too quickly. Oh, that's right. I had to take the arrows and then take the tail. I'm just gonna walk. Actually, isn't it just 100? 124. I'm in the same zone. Ugh. Let's go do the other one real quick. Come at the behest of Afumi for medicine. My very best is yours for the taking. How pitiful the lot of this doman unable to stomach the sea. A true confederate could raid a dozen ships while in his cups. Mayhap this one could return whence he came. Oh, he's like way up there. And there's an aether current. Oh, that's right. Let's grab that first. Cool, so I have half of the ones you find in the world. Good. Ridiculous. Why does it shift and shudder still? Landlubber's best mate. Medicines, give them here. They may look down on me for resorting to such measures, but I would do aught to render the world stable and motionless once more. You were kind, as is Afumi. You may tell her I will return to my duties as soon as I am able. Save ourselves a few seconds here. Alright, let's turn in this one. So what did my recruit? Did you find him napping on the beach or some such? He was waiting to see if the boat came back. What? All this time you standing watch for the funerary vessel? Huh. So rarely does he give voice to his thoughts. I had no idea our comrade's death had affected him so. Too quick was I to judge him. It is good that you went in my stead, else I might have misspoken and made a fool of myself. Please accept this as a token of my gratitude. Your money. 662 gil. That's it. You have been away for some time, perhaps in search of a young Gyuki corpse. I see I did not misjudge you. Thank you for your help. Would that I could have tended my own kill, but such is life. A pity the meat is not as delicious as it is nutritious. Under normal circumstances, we would not bother hunting Gyuki as game, but as you may have heard, these are not normal circumstances. Arrows too must be reused when possible. A prudent measure become necessary, alas. With every passing day, our future grows more uncertain. Oh, I clicked on it too quickly. A strange sight passes your lips. Have I said something odd? No matter. Thank you again for your aid. Missed out on a little, like 2 lines. Come on. The Doman was raised in the mountains of his homeland. The first time he saw the sea was after he fled his homeland and came to us. He tosses and turns in his sleep, and when he takes to the water, it is not long before he can no longer stand. He'll grow accustomed to this life. He's hardly the first, after all. The captain, too, was once of Doma, and though he cast all aside 25 years ago, when the Imperials took his lands and the lives of his parents and brothers. Perhaps you too will renounce your ties and join us someday. I mistook you for a recruit before, but I know your tale now. Tense we unfolded it all. Think of my offer, Westerner. You may find small joys in the land, but the sea holds salvation. You've been busy, haven't you? And now you're here to ask if I need help with anything. Now that you mention it. Lately, we've had trouble with ravenous sharks that have been leaping out of the water and making off with our fish. Damnedest thing, I know, but you wouldn't doubt it if you saw it. We've got to cull the thieving bastards regularly. So happens I sent 3 of my mates out there before you came along. Still, the more the merrier. If you can kill 2 or so, that ought to be something. Take a few of these rotting fish as bait. I'll not be needing them. Oh, and maybe see if you can't find the other group. They've been away longer than I like. Take the rotting fish. And then go there. That's not too far. No big deal. And destinaciones. Alright, let's go find the other destination. There it is. Easy peasy. Nope. Then we gotta go over here anyway. Let's see, are there any... Nice. I think that kind of makes a lot of noise in the water. Industrious pirate. He's not very industrious. Oh, Kami be praised. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come along. My partners and I got separated when you fled. You haven't seen them, have you? Yeah, before the Kodan started chasing us, their leader asked us if we were Doman. Oh, Yatsu used catchers, I know it. First Asari, now this. I've got to tell Rasho and the others. Oh, it means they're under attack. Well, let's go find this other spot. Is it up there? I think it's up there. Yep. Okay. Oh, it's coral. This is called the Coral Banquet, this little area. So all these little things are not mushrooms, they're coral. Interesting how it sticks out of the water like that. Right, so it should be right over. Yep. Oop. $734 yalms to the south in that area. No worries. We got all that. Let's go back to Onokoro and move on from there. Oh, I was already mounted. Ah, there you are, Malgazer. I heard you went shark hunting. We too did our fair share of beast culling, though I think Lise made a stronger impression when she bested a drunken pirate in a sparring match. Fastest knockout to date, I am told. I should like to think we have proven ourselves to be rather... why'd I get the feeling you have something important to tell me? Yeah, the Imperials are on their way. Bojan mercenaries rounding up Doman Confederates? Surely Atsuyu has crossed the line, but now... We must go and speak with Rasho immediately. Even he cannot deny this changes everything. At least, I should like to think that he cannot. Why are they called Alizé's stones?
Our most compassionate acquaintances return. For your deeds we owe you many thanks. But something tells me our thanks are not sufficient. The strange thing is, I was certain you understood our position. And yet here you are with that same look in your eyes, and those same words upon your lips, I'll wager.
Tell him.
I speak only the truth. The Confederacy will not be spared Yotsuyu's wrath. You have always known this, that one day you would have no choice but to stand up to the Empire. I say to you that day is today, and come once more to ask that you join us in the fight.
How convenient that recent events should lend such credence to your claims. Tell me, do death and destruction always follow in your wake?
They had no part in it, Tansui. You know this. We all know this. They came and took our Doman brothers. They will torture them for her sport. Murder them for her satisfaction. So we attack and get butchered for our trouble, or do naught and let them have their pound of flesh. If this be our choice, I say we suffer the ignominy. We endure. We survive. There is no better path. Until the day our enemy is grown weaker and we stronger, there can be no retribution. We will wait for a sign. Such is the judgment of the Confederacy.
So that's it then. You're just going to abandon them to her. They'd die for you, you know, for the Confederacy. They would die for you, but you wouldn't even think to risk your lives for theirs.
I have one last idea, if you will allow. I'm afraid it's not very good as ideas go. It's exceedingly reckless, in fact, and you may well come to despise me for ever having suggested it. Assuming we survive, that is. The question being, do you trust me?
You need to ask. I should have said ask it. Ask me again later. That'd been funny.
I can't stand by and let innocent people suffer, here or anywhere else. I'll do whatever it takes.
Then let us roll the dice.
And they can hear you now.
If it's a sign you want, we shall give you one. One rousing enough to make you drive every Garlean out of Isari without a second thought. You are wary of invoking the ire of the Imperial forces stationed in Dome, correct? Know then that once we have rescued our comrade and freed Isari, we mean to liberate the nation as a whole. You will doubtless require assurances that we are capable of achieving this, and that is only fair. Accordingly, we shall demonstrate our seriousness by depriving the Garleans of a key ally, the Kojin.
What, the three of you, just like that?
Yep. Let's do this.
Actually, my esteemed colleague here will attend to it on his own. But the how of it is not your concern, only the outcome. If we succeed, you help us liberate Isari. If we fail, you lose nothing. A simple enough wager, if you have the stones for it.
Oh, that's why it's called Alizé's Stones.
The little miss does make it hard to refuse, does she not?
Words are air. We will weigh you by your deeds.
I like how she's like, no, Malgazir will do it. Alright. Thanks for the food. I'm stacking up so much actual food. I'm not even using it. I'm using this as basic stuff whenever I get into a dungeon. Look, a blue quest. Yay. Alright. So let's see what this quest is. Aha. So, alone you will deal with the Kojin. If you are set upon this course, I shall give you a word of advice. Two factions have the Kojin. The mercenaries who serve the Empire belong to the Red. Those who belong to the Blue are the traitors. They have made no pact with the Imperials, and so may be willing to aid your cause. Seek the Blue on the Isle of Becco. There you will find a cave. The rest is up to you. Thank you, Captain. We shall endeavor not to keep you waiting overlong for your sign. Alright then, let us head out for... Wait, where is Lise? We cannot leave without her. Come on, Lise. Make our summer fall. Can I not jump this? Come on. Fine, I'll go down here. That's probably what that's for. What do you have for me? Why can't I click on him unless he's like right in front of me? Stupid. Okay, so speak with that person for that. I'll speak with Lise first. She's right here. I see you. Malgazir, what is it? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to wander off. I just wanted to have a think. You're worried we won't be able to live up to our promises? No, it's not that at all. If anything, I'm frustrated that I didn't think of it first. Ian and my father had a way with words. They knew how to inspire people, how to bring them together. I always hoped that I might have something of that in me, too, but I'm starting to think I don't. What am I even doing here? Please, you... listen to me. I don't know where that came from. Forget I said anything. We have places to go, Imperials to fight, and friends to save. And we're not going to get any of it done by standing around here moaning, right? Right? Before we first traveled to Garabania, I was in Limsa Laminza visiting visiting a friend, a young child who had been through a great deal. That's neither here nor there, I suppose. Anyway, on the way back, I passed a patisserie which sold some of the most exquisite-looking tarts I had ever seen. I've always preferred cookies, to be honest, but nevertheless, I decided to stop and try one. I'll treat you to one when all this is over. And I'll go there too, and I won't take no for an answer. What about Y'shtola? We'd never hear the end of it. Alright, Y'shtola too once she's better. Deal? Good. Then let's hurry, shall we? We have a million things to do before then. I can't wait till we get to Hien. He's pretty cool. And I like his music. It's the music from Final Fantasy VI. The music of Doma. That's just the name itself. Doma is a Final Fantasy VI reference. With our buddy Cyan, who is one of my favorite characters in that game. I haven't played that game in years. It's my favorite Final Fantasy, and I've only ever beaten it once. That's how good it is. You beat it once and it's your favorite, and no. This is the blue quest, don't care. I'll do this real quick and then I just want to get this blue quest out of the way. Okay, cool. What is this? I Dream of Shirogane? What is this one? What does this do? Let me hang on a second. Does it unlock the... What does it unlock? I think it unlocks the player housing. Yes. Okay. So that's what that is. That is to unlock the player housing. Still haven't done it for the other areas, but that's what that one is. Okay. Don't care, don't care, don't care. Okay, good. Well, I can return, get that done, and then move on with the story. Goodbye. Oh, really? Come on. Thank you. That was weird. My auto run wasn't working. Fatal Fist has been standing there for quite a while. What's over here that everyone's hanging out? Oh, that might be the Heaven on High stuff. Oh, wait, no, I've never done it. Don't need that because I have the special one. Alright. So we're going to go all the way over here and then head south. To minimize the amount of swimming I have to do. This is going to be a little bit faster. Ridiculous. I didn't know they could have balloons to fly. I think that's the most expensive item in the Golden Saucer stuff is 2 million. That, you know, unless you're like hardcore playing, that'll take you a while to get. Even if you are hardcore playing, it took me, what, 10 plus hours to get just 230,000. Just because I did all the, or as many of the challenge log as I wanted. So if you do it like every week, you do the fashion report and everything, then you know, it'll add up. See if I can stack these. Oh, they're already stacked. Usually they don't stack for you. That's nice. Okay, so I think I'm at the point here where I can minimize, yep, the amount of swimming. What was that? Oh, it was just a pin. Okay. The Isle of Becco. My voice is off. This disease sucks. I think this is the Isle of Becco. So to be honest, it looks the same as many of the other islands around here. Rasha said there's a cave that leads us to the village. We should search further inland. I think I know generally where it is. Yep, that's just showing me where to go. Not much searching involved when it tells you where to go. Have to go all the way around. Alright, so let's grab that and then we'll go in. There's the cave right there, so it's perfect. Some of these, they find a way to make you go way out of your way to get them. Only 3 left that are on normal. Don't get touched. He will kill you. Was this way back up? Yep, way back up. What do you have to say, Elise? How much further do you think it is? Useful. Thank you. There's Alizé. You have any words, Alizé?
Is that light I see up ahead?
Look at that Aetheryte.
We appear to be standing inside a giant bubble. By the 12, I think we're on the seabed.
Well, I thought I heard familiar voices.
Soroban, what are you doing here?
I live here.
What a curious question. I live here.
Yeah.
Then this is the home of the Blue Kojin.
Just so. I bid you welcome to Tamamizu.
How fortunate that we should find a familiar face in this place. We should tell Soroban about our situation. If anyone here can help us, it's him. So tell me, my friends, what strange ties bear you to our home? Explain. That is indeed a most dire predicament, but perhaps an opportunity for us to craft yet another profitable arrangement. Very well, I shall introduce you to our leader, Bunshin. It'll be up to you, however, to present your case. First things first, let's grab... Yeah. It's just such a cool looking Aetheryte. With coral all over it. It's cool.
Welcome, guests. Gratitude to you for aiding Soroban in his negotiations.
The way you said that. What?
We thank you for your hospitality, honored elder. Pray forgive me my brevity, but I wish to discuss an urgent matter.
So, you seek to compel our Red Brothers to forego hostilities for a time.
Right. We know your two clans have your differences, but what with you being brothers and all, we thought you might be able to...
Stumbling over own words again.
Secret knowledge? Or something?
From far above, you have journeyed here in search of our wisdom. You shall have it. All creation is a tapestry, through which the divine is woven. Kami are legion, and they can be found in the great and the small. Though they come and go as they please, they favor certain vessels. The ancient, the precious, the exquisite. We Kojin covet these vessels, these treasures. We go forth and bring them home to keep them safe and bask in their divinity. They bring prosperity and joy to us and our children. Yet, how are we to seek these treasures above if we made enemies of the Garlean Empire, powerful and far-reaching as they are? Wiser to burn with them. So resolved the Red Kojin.
Cautiously and carefully, for the Garleans are blind to the divine, nor will they suffer their subjects to see. So the Red masquerade as mercenaries who seek money and power, and never speak of their faith in the presence of their masters. To honor the divine, they deny it. A twisted and misguided path.
Aye, aye. Kami will not abide such foolishness. This they shall learn to their sorrow. While our red brothers live by the sword, we blue Kojin uphold the old ways, engaging in trade and valuing peace. Alas, men distinguish not between our clans, and judgment for the doings of the red falls unjustly upon the blue. Thus do men grow more and more reluctant to deal with us, denying us our treasures. This cannot continue.
On that point, we are in agreement. You are willing to aid our cause, then?
There is a way that the Red may be driven to retreat into their shells. But to share with you this knowledge is to reveal secrets of the divine. Assurances must first be had, trust forged, a bargain struck.
Well said, Elder. In great crises is great profit to be had.
Delight not overmuch in such things, Sodoban. Now, tell our guests what must be done.
As you wish.
Well, I've no idea what we've gotten ourselves into, but so far so good, right?
So far. Shrugs all around. Listen well, my friend. We require your assistance with the search of a priceless treasure, the Yasakani no Magatama. This jewel, this most sacred of Kojin relics, was in the possession of Hingashi, until they decided to present it to the Garleans in a gesture of conciliation. The Red would not abide this, so they plotted to seize the vessel bearing it to their imperial masters. Alas, though they succeeded in the ensuing chaos, the Magatama was lost to the sea. We wish to recover the sacred jewel before our brothers. However, were we to come into conflict with them, it would be problematic. Therefore, we turn to you. So you want us to search the ocean floor for this treasure of yours. I'm not sure how we're supposed to do that without, drowning? Fear not. There is a ritual I can perform to imbue your bodies with a powerful blessing. But first, you must prepare offerings for the sea. I require twisted coral, ruby coral, several fist-sized sea snail shells, and a freshly harvested Unkyo carapace. That's quite the shopping list. I'll see to the shells, and Lise can look for the coral. Alexander, would you go and find an Unkyo and relieve it of its carapace? You insist. Up first. Yeah, there we go. Where is the nearest one anyway? Is it still in the same aisle? I go check. I will check when I'm here. Or when I get back up there, which is exactly where I need to go anyway, so... Let's take an Unkyo carapace. Okay, so let's go find this. Yep. Then I can just teleport back in. Hello. Is it down there? I don't want to jump down there if I don't have to. Let's go around, just to make sure. The name of that was Independence Ray. Okay, so yeah, it is down there. Look, another hunt. Oh. $1,045 yalms to the southwest, so it's probably in that area. All right, let's go back to Tamamizu. Turn this in. Well, have you the Unkyo carapace? How splendid they are. The kami shall be pleased, I am sure. I got it. I got the ruby coral you wanted. And I had the sea snail shells. They're about the size of my fist, though I realize now that you may have met yours. These shall more than suffice for our purpose. Next we must make ready to present them to the sea and perform the ritual. Once it has been completed, you will be able to move freely through the depths and find the Yasakani no Magatama. Out of curiosity, how large is this sacred jewel of yours? Unless it's far too large to be carried by the three of us, how are we supposed to even find it? The Ruby Sea is not exactly small. Aha, surely you realize we've been searching this whole time. The area you wish to explore is just a small fraction of the Ruby Sea. Already we have scoured most of the seabed near and within our territory to no avail. All that remains is a region to the west. The Shellas of the Sui no Sato can provide you with better guidance than we. You would do well to visit them first. Shellas? You mean the Kojin are the only ones that live under the sea? Of course not. The Rayan have been here as long as I remember. Chiosai, the overseer I believe, can tell you more when you arrive. We are getting ahead of ourselves. We have yet to carry out the ritual. Cool. Level up. I learned what? Requiescat. What is that? Interesting. I'll put that up with my magic here. I need to learn how to weave that into my attacks here. Are you ready, my friends, to explore a world unlike any you've ever known? Then let us go to the western part of the village, where the water twists and turns, and there complete our preparations for the ritual. Wait, 2 more. And then a bunch more quests. Well, 3 more at least. Sorry. He dove into the water a moment ago and said to wait here until he returned.
It is done. Your offerings have been given to the sea. The ritual can begin at last. Come and stand before me, my friends.
This will take 2 seconds.
Yes, yes. Listen to my words, and let all else wash away. Listen to my words, and feel them flow into your heart. At first a trickle, then a flood.
If only it were that easy.
O Kami of the fathomless waters of the fallen, the ascended, the flowing, and the becalmed, caretakers of the shallows and of the depths. Receive of us our meager offerings, cleanse these ones of earth and stone, and grant them your blessing, that they might drink deep of the divine. The ritual is complete, my friends. You may now breathe in the depths as you would upon land.
Well, that was easy.
Strange. I don't feel any different. Are you sure it worked?
Reasonably. The blessing does have its limits, of course. While it will allow you to dwell in the depths, it will not help you traverse them.
I can swim well enough. How about you, Alize?
Oh, like a fish, in contrast to my doggy-paddling brother. Somehow, the boy just isn't very buoyant.
Okay.
Skilled or no, your bodies are ill-suited to the sea. Your cause demands alacrity, and you shall have it. But first, let us take to the water.
It'd be cool to just be able to swim around and not have to worry about breathing or pressure
I swear I was breathing air.
or temperature.
Now I shall summon for you noble steeds of great strength.
look at them. I bet they could take us all the way to the deepest depths of the sea.
And so they may. After we've won over the Confederacy, rescued Kosetsu, and liberated your respective homelands.
You're ruining her fun.
Should you become parted from your steeds, return to me, and I shall call them again. Take care, my friends, and may the Kami speed you on your way.
We'll find that treasure in no time. Come on!
Diving is unlocked. May dive in deep water and stay submerged indefinitely. To leave water. Okay. Spacebar to leave. Control spacebar to go back underneath. Right, well. It's a lot like flying. At least the controls are. Another blue quest. I'm gonna go on the top one because I'm ridiculous. Ah. I have to manually leave. Okay. This must be Sui no Sato, the rain village Sorban told us about. Alright then, let's see if we can't help. They can't help us find the Kojin's missing jewel. Did I miss a weapon? Or they put them in a weird order? Because last one it was a gunbreaker and dancer weapons only. I mean, there's a better shield. I'll get that, but still. If this is Sui no Sato, then Shiosai, the overseer, should be around here somewhere. I dare say one of the locals will be able to point us in his direction. So now that I look around, I get distinct impression we are not welcome here. Like anywhere else we go. So this is our man. Leave this place and never return. We have no need of wide-eyed wanderers. Sorry, I didn't mean to stare. My name is Lise, and these are my friends, Malkazer and Alize. We're looking for the overseer of Sui no Sato, Shiosai. That's you, isn't it? Kojin of the Blue sent you hither, did they? I am no overseer, nor ever would I claim to be one. I am High Priest of Shisui of the Violet Tides. So you are the man we're looking for. Great, we need your help. We're looking for the jewel called the Yosaki no... Stop. I will hear no more. We will suffer no outside troubles in our sanctuary, especially those of would-be treasure hunters. Chirp, chirp. Quiet, Isobe, or there will be no dango for dinner. I can do naught to aid you. I say to you again, leave this place and never return. At the very least, sir, you might condescend to tell us of your village and why you are so loath to show us even the most basic courtesy. I don't have to do anything. Sui no Sato is our sanctuary. Under the benevolent leadership of the Ruby Princess, sovereign of Shisui, we reign and enjoy humble yet fulfilling lives. But it was not always so. Long ago, our forebears were driven from their ancestral lands. Beneath the waters, they sought refuge from the ravages of war, and here they flourished. All that we are, our culture, our traditions, was born of the sea, as was I. Though we have engaged others in diplomacy, it has ever been with the utmost caution. Isolation and independence are essential to preserving our way of life. So it was when Doma fell 25 years past, the Ruby Princess in her wisdom decreed that we would take no part. As it was, so ever shall it be. Forever and apart. Forgive me, I understand now how highly you value your way of life, and how you'll suffer none to endanger it. You may be assured that we have no desire to do so, and I'd hope that we have given you no cause to assume otherwise. You have not, but this changes nothing. Regardless of your intentions, it is not my place to break with tradition. I must consider the wishes of all who call Suino Sato home. For me to defy their will and permit outsiders to remain would be a gross betrayal of my responsibilities. Please do not ask this of me. Thank you for your time, sir. Lisa's like, dang it. And so it continues. Another village, another deaf ear. Clearly Yarabani is not the only place with walls. I'm starting to wonder if this is all a huge mistake. Setsu couldn't have known we would take this long. I only hope he's still alive. Meanwhile, in the tavern of Isari.
I tire of this filthy tavern, and it's still filthy.
Scant reward for your treachery, aye. A painted woman of your rich experience deserves a better class of customer.
Oh, name-calling. Is that what we've been reduced to?
Yep.
Orphan of the Nayuri. Widow of Sashihai. What joy it must have brought you to be revenged upon us all.
Not enough. Not nearly enough. My appetite for your agony is as an abyss. Bottomless. Insatiable. Before you die, you will cry and beg and prostrate yourself upon the earth. You will crawl on your belly through the muck and the piss and debase yourself for my amusement. But you think you are made of sterner stuff? Rather than have him beat you, mayhap I should have my oaf go and fetch your master's head. Oh, poor Lord Cayenne. Kami rest his soul. Noble leader of a fallen nation. A fine puppet he made for the Viceroy. For a time. 25 years he was content to serve his masters as a dog. And then everyone had to rise up and get themselves killed. Tell me, how did it feel to fail him that day? To live with the disgrace of his death? Not that you were a stranger to living with disgrace, of course. In the what was it? 25 years since you were humiliated and tossed into an imperial jail? You had plenty of time to get used to it. Oh yes, I heard the stories. About the samurai who would do anything to return to his master's side, even if it meant pledging his blade to his sworn enemy. They say he walked with death, that he slew 1,000 men in the Empire's name. Truly a tale for the poets.
I do not deny my sins, but I will not be reproached by the likes of you.
Oh, I mean not to reproach you, but to praise you. You're a survivor, samurai. Just like me. So, let us not dwell on the past, you and I, and instead give thought to the future. To wit, I would ask you again to help me resolve this vexing matter of Doma's missing heir. Living or dead, it makes no difference, really. But the Garleans are most insistent that we put this problem behind us. And I know you helped him flee. So tell me, what became of Lord Hien?
To my dismay, the details escape me at present. Mayhap your dog could jog my memory.
Get on with it, and mark me, brute. There is no limit to how far you can fall.
Of all the bloody stupid... Oh!
When I get back to Eorzea, I'm gonna find that little shite, and I'm gonna make him pay.
He has very, very pointy boots. Looks very painful. Gosetsu's tough. Hopefully, like, maybe they're doing it in reverse. Instead of always having it like the paladin weapon first, it's on and on and on. Hey, look, a blue one. Maybe they're switching it up so it's not always me who gets it. We seem to have reached an impasse, and to make matters worse, every solution I can think of only will take more time. I don't suppose you have any ideas, do you, Malgazer? Ask the villagers if they know anything. Right. You are the ones who come from above, yes? If we could have a moment of your time. My apologies. We did not mean to startle you. My name is Ihanami, and this is my wife. Well, whatever. You were wondering, have you any news from Doma? If so, we would like so much to hear it. May I ask why? If you must, our daughter fought in the rebellion. We have heard naught from her since. It would be much to hope. It would be too much to hope if you knew of her, but her name is Yugiri. Excuse me. Explain, explain. Why be praised? She lives. She lives. We're looking for her too, actually, but I'm sure she's all right. We had no idea she hailed from Sui no Sato. How did she come to serve Doma as a shinobi? It all began when she was a little girl. She and another child crept out of the village, having grown curious about the world outside. To Doma they went, where they met a young boy, a proud son of Yangsha. His tales of imperial oppression left a lasting impression on her. When she returned, she spoke passionately of the Doman's plight and urged us to take the boy in. But my wife and I would not hear of it. We thought the matter closed, but she never forgot his words. She became convinced that the Garleans would one day come for us, and it was in search of the strength to defend us she left years ago, years later, to learn the ways of the shinobi. When the then Ruby Princess learned of this, she forbade Yugiri's return, lest she bring misfortune to us all. We protested the judgment, but there was naught we could do, and so our daughter, who wanted only to keep her people safe. Surely there's something we could do for these people, they who gave her aid and succor when no other would. I am but a humble stonemason, but if it is the Yasaki no Magatama you seek, I may yet be of some assistance to you. The jewel is known to possess an unusual property. To the naked eye it is a jade, but when bathed in a particular light, it shimmers with a divine resplendence. I have mined similar materials before. To find them, one must use these lamps. They cast an invisible light under which the stones sparkle. In the deepest depths, they are invaluable. There's a sunken ship to the east. Though the currents may have spirited her away her cargo, you should begin your search there. Thank you so much. We'll do just that. I hope you find what you seek. I only wish there were something more we could do to assist you. Know that you'll be in my prayers. And when next we see our daughter, pray tell her not a day goes by that her parents and her brothers did not think of her. We will, I promise. Alright, let's grab this blue quest and see what that does. Look at that, an aether current. A man cloaked in black visited Shisui of the Violet Tides. That's the palace where the Ruby Princess lives. In condition, he muttered and instead drew forth a terrible spirit, which took possession of my sister's body. So we have to go free her. I think this is the dungeon. Excuse me. Skip your cutscene. There's a sunken ship. If this wreck is the self-same vessel of which Soraban spoke, then if the gods are good, the Magatama is nearby. Ready your lamp and keep your eyes open, Malgazer. We're going to need to take this slowly. Move too fast, and we risk overlooking something. That was easy. Hard to tell how close I am underwater. I swear, looking for a needle haystack would be quicker. Gosetsu will have died of old age by the time we finished. You haven't found anything, have you, Malgazer? This is it. The Yasaki no Magatami, exactly as Soraban described. And it should be seen that our fortunes have finally changed for the better. But as I would like to return and thank Yugiri's parents for their assistance, time is of the essence. I say we make for Tamamizu at once. Hold on to it for now, Malgazer. Once we arrive, present it to the Elder, and then we can finally learn how to deal with the Red Kojin. Or I'm gonna go do this dungeon. And I still have my class quest to do too. Oh, it's way down there, huh? Yep, way down there. The underwater palace. Cool. Bet it's not part of the actual story, but definitely getting all these Aether Currents, I feel should be. Okay, well. In the meantime, we'll wait for that to pop. I'm gonna head over here. The other side of this they should have an Aether Current here. I think one of the Aether Currents I can't get until I get in there anyway. Even underwater, these machines still move faster. Any of the mounts do. It's kind of weird. What are these? Appa. Yeah, cool. They look kind of like those the boss from that one dungeon we did a while ago. What was it called? The Siren Song Sea. There it is. I like walked through like 2 inches of water and it's like, nope. Can't remain mounted in here. Let's go grab that one too while we're waiting. We just need a healer, per usual. That's a shiny mount right there. You wonder which ones of these are ones you earn or ones you buy. You feel like you have to list somewhere. Oh, okay, so I need to jump down these without getting on a mount or falling into the water. Oh, start over. I think that's the point where I need to start using my sprint. That wasn't so bad. Okay, so then I have the one from the dungeon I'm about to do. Then there's going to be another blue one that shows up. In the meantime, let's go back underwater. And ow. Yep. Almost ready to fly. Hopefully this dungeon pops. Storm Chaser. If I go above the water, then I have to literally swim. A lot longer than just... Oh. A lot longer than just doing this. Until I can fly. Then it'll be faster to go above water. Dang, you give us some big old shields. That's a scholar for you. You can tell by my health, our health bars are the yellow bar above it. Those are... We'll be taking damage from that before hitting our own health bar. Spike it in RX. Professor Garbage. Cool names. Hey, get back over here. Kill him, Dancer. I think we have a samurai in here too. Another very flashy. Geyser begins to erupt. Because we have to go step in it. Oh, a little bit of a lag there. Or a chest over there or something? Nope. And just go all the way around that section. First boss, Amikiri. Looks like a scorpion with a face on it. At least the regular boss music is the same. Takes extra damage when he's on his back. Quite a bit too. Really happens to be the water right there. They drop the AoE right when we can do the damage to this guy. How convenient. Look, boots that are slightly better than mine. Palace guards. fun when you get a lot of people with flashy things, and you might get lost in there, but hopefully you know what you're looking for. I'm gonna go get the treasure chest. Whatever, I guess we're not. All those AoEs, yeah. Now, the Ruby Princess herself. Your life is mine. Seduce. You have to open these up to get old. That way, seduce does nothing to you. They're assuming a lot. They say that if you're old, you can't be seduced, but you know. It's because the wisdom that comes with age. The volcanoes are going to follow you too, guys. And you guys ran into the... We need to anyway, that's fine. You guys ran into it too early. Those guys don't know what they're doing is what it looks like to me. I was so close. So close to what? I've never noticed that before. They have like little like symbols on the sides of this little donut. Wonder what that means. Wonder if that's everybody or just this guy, or just because we have like a samurai in the group or something. They all have the symbols too. Interesting. Alright, Violet Tatsunoko. Time to get gored. Boom. Almost there. Treasure chest. There's quite a few treasure chests in here. Bald Kraken. It looks like a mix between a manta ray and an octopus. Alright, time for the final boss of this dungeon. Ugh. Hey, it's Ursula. Defeat Shisui Yohi. Gotcha. A thick fog. Destroy the churns. Of course. I was still too close. Ow. Well, the tank buster, foul nail, dang. Get out of there, dude. I made that same mistake too. Just stood too close to it. Just got wrecked. And look away from that. You can't avoid it other than looking away. And everyone else decided to not look away. That's cool. We take damage based on how many churns are out. Nice. Get away from there. And nice. The ruby-tied gunblade. There. None of us are gunbreakers. Now where do I need to turn this quest into? Oh look, it dropped me right outside. Perfect. Return to the village. Directly north. Like I said, I think that's in an area we can't get to until we get to the next part in the actual story. Which is fine, because even after I turn this one in, I'll still have one quest. One blue quest to do. Well, let's double check, shall we? Yeah, northwest, so it's going to be in there. All right, yep, yeah. This actually does give us pretty good speed. Almost like full-on flying speed underwater. If we take it off, and it's much slower. Nice. This makes this area a little bit more reasonable. That may or may not be an improvement. Oh, it is. Oh, I just have to go over here and turn this in. Whims of the Divine. I think after I turn this in, I may take a little bit of a break. May not be back today, we'll see. You are returned, and with the Yasakani no Makatama, I trust. Yep, there you go. Yes, there is no mistake. Well done, well done. So, about the Red Kojin. You said there was a way to make them retreat into their shells. Are you ready to tell us now? I did indeed, and yes, I am. For you see, divinity resides not only in the material vessels, but in individuals. In laying claim to this most sacred of treasures, you have demonstrated an affinity with the divine. Treat with men and women such as you is to invite fortune into our homes. Gladly will we aid your cause. All is ready, Sorbonne, and give them what they require. Here's my hand. Is this a ceremonial knife of some sort? Before this blade, that which is sealed shall open, the treasure vault of the Kojin and the Isle of Zeki. It is there that our most prized relics, be they the red or the blue, are kept safe. Fiercely do they red guard it, for its contents are more precious than their lives. For the vault to be attacked, their response would by necessity be immediate. Kojin would be summoned from mobs around to defend their treasures. And were we to sow enough chaos, the Reds in service to the Imperials would have no choice but to answer the call as well. Giving the Confederacy the sign they've been waiting for. Without the Kojin, the Imperials don't have nearly enough troops in the Asari to hold off the pirates. However, you must understand that the vault is holy ground, home to 1,000 kami, Intrude upon it without paying the proper respects is a sacrilege we cannot condone. So if we were to pay the proper respects, it would be alright? Great. How do we do that again? The Yasukani no Magatama is one of the 3 most coveted treasures of the Kojin. The other 2 lie within the vault. Were we to deliver the jewel unto the others and thereby make them whole, Akami may forgive your trespass and instead delight in your mischief making. So if I understand you correctly, you want us to take the sacred jewel coveted by your brothers and deliver it to their treasure vault? More or less, the Yasukani no Magatama belongs on the Isle of Zeki. So long as it finds its way there, we are satisfied. The Magatama has chosen you to bear it to its brothers. Had it not, you would never have found it, and we would not be having this conversation. I shall inform the Confederacy of your plans and bid them make ready to act when the time is right. The Isle of Zeki lies to the west of the Sui no Sato. Look for a cave beneath the waters. May fortune favor you in this and all other endeavors. Oh man. Right then, I'm not normally in the habit of sneaking out into heavily guarded treasure vaults, but if this is the only way to convince the Confederacy to act, then so be it. We should be prepared for a fight. The bigger the better. A kind word you wish you had 7 of your most battle-hardened friends at your side. Wink wink, nudge nudge, trial. Yeah, see, there's the weapon. I don't know about you two, but I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Me too, let's do this. Right, not left to say then. The Isle of Zeki. Alright, let's go find that cave. She's a wee bit nervous, what I'm seeing. Did another blue quest pop up somewhere? It has not yet. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.